Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler, and this time we're rewinding back a little bit to something we've seen before to see another angle on it. That's right, we are returning to everyone's favorite Star Wars cartoon series. Wait, no, make that every masochist's favorite Star Wars cartoon series, Ewoks. Bear with me, no need for clips this time. I promise I won't subject you to all of that again. But you may recall that back in 2004, the same year, of course, that we saw the release of the original trilogy on DVD for the first time, we also saw the initial DVD release, and thus far only DVD release, of Ewoks. But of course, this was not a complete series, not even a complete season. Instead, this was two different feature-length episodes, movies, whatever you want to call them, that essentially took 4 episodes of Ewoks each, all from Season 1, and sort of mixed and mashed them together, to a larger extent on the newer one, to a lesser extent on the older one, to create this production here. We called it Star Wars Animated Adventures Ewoks, the Double Feature. And this, of course, included The Haunted Village and Tales from the Indoor Woods. Now, while Tales from the Indoor Woods was a new production, or at least a new butchering production, made out of 4 previous episodes, The Haunted Village had seen a release previously, the same year as the Star Wars Special Editions hit theaters and then hit home video in 1997, we got Star Wars Animated Classics Ewoks, The Haunted Village. Now again, this is a feature-length movie, if you want to call it that, consisting of 4 episodes. The specific 4 in this case are The Haunted Village, Cries of the Trees, Rampage of the Flogs, and Sunstar vs. Shadowstone. This is the original case. The back gives us information here. A little bit bright here because of the sunlight coming in through the window, but gives us a title, information about the story, a few images, tells us about the runtime up here and that it was originally released in 1985 and so on. Well, sort of, right? The original episodes were. And then has our copyright information down there on the bottom. The tape itself, in a style similar to what we saw with some of the releases of the time, has that whole blue, green, and white Star Wars Animated Classics Ewoks. No Haunted Village actually listed there. The not rated image there because this was from a cartoon and so forth. No label on the front. Back has a little barcode thingy. Now this retail release kicked off with a preview, a trailer, for the Animated Classics, Droids, and Ewoks releases, then dove into the feature-length The Haunted Village. Now, in the past on this show, we've looked at some screeners. We've seen some for the Clone Wars. We've seen one for Empire of Dreams. Again, a screener is something that's handed off to some limited amount of individuals to begin with, basically to give them a chance to see something that they can then make a decision about, whether it's about getting awards, whether it's about whether they want to promote a particular item in their store, that sort of thing. Now you would think that this being Star Wars, this being 1997 with the special editions and all, that it'd be a no-brainer for a store to put the Ewoks The Haunted Village VHS tape into their stores. Granted, Ewoks was not that great, not as well known, of course, as the actual live-action films, but it's Star Wars, it's a home video release, and they can build on that special edition hype. But maybe your store was a little reluctant. Maybe you wanted to see a bit about what you might be promoting inside your store before you actually put it in there. For that purpose, there was this. I said that was like the same thing, but it's not. This is a screener VHS for Star Wars Animated Classics Ewoks The Haunted Village. A little bit of extra text down here. A little bit tough to see, because this thing isn't necessarily going to refocus here. It says, not for rental or sale. This feature-length screener is for sales aid use only, and absolutely not for rental, sale, or public demonstration. U.S. order date, January 20, 1997. Canadian order date, January 17, 1997. Street date, February 11, 1997. If you have rented or purchased this film, please call 1-800-800-2-FOX. All calls are confidential. Dang it. 1-800... You know what? Never mind. Now, the fronts here are essentially identical, except, of course, that they had to scoot the art up a little bit to fit in that information about it being a screener. The sides here are basically identical, although you'll notice here the different color to the Lucasfilm logo, and there is a different number for the product underneath, because of course one is a screener, one is not. And then whereas the back of the actual retail copy tells you about what's in it from a consumer standpoint, what's this story going to be, the back of the screener is very different, telling you what this product is going to be in case you're going to sell it in your stores. To run through it here, it says, "Prepare to launch a whole new generation of kids into the animated world of Star Wars." Then it's got your Ewoks and Droids images, Star Wars Animated Classics, Ewoks, The Haunted Village, Droids, The Pirates and the Prince. Each video is a full-length animated adventure. From George Lucas, creator of the multi-billion-dollar Star Wars franchise. Unprecedented consumer awareness, planet-wide sell-through impact. Billions of consumer impressions from high-profile theatrical re-release. Yes, not the high-profile theatrical re-release, and not high-profile theatrical re-releases, but kind of some screwy grammar here. Billions of consumer impressions from high-profile theatrical re-release of the original Star Wars feature. Huge promotional tie-in with Pepsi. $1 million advertising campaign will reach 80% of target audience an average of 6 times. Parents can't wait to introduce their children to the wonder of Star Wars. They did get that right. This was definitely aiming at the idea that those buying it aren't going to be the kids who might watch it. Those buying it will be the adults for the kids, so aim it at the adults. Then we have this little box here that says, definite purchase intent. And you have Ewoks, Droids, and Norm, based on basically how likely it is that people will wind up purchasing this for certain. And the Norm is 20%, says Droids is 24%, and Ewoks is 39%. Are you shitting me? Are you telling me that more people will be definitely buying? In fact, we're talking 15% more people will be definitely buying the Ewoks home video release rather than Droids? They must not remember Ewoks very well. And they must not really be all that interested in their Star Wars actually feeling like, Star Wars. That's kind of creepy and kind of scary to me. The source on these says, independent research among moms of kids 2 to 8. Well, maybe, I guess it's a little more cutesy for those little kids. And it's not season 2, so, Wicket's not a douche, and we don't have Latara being a little skank, so I guess it works. Underneath then it says 48 and 24 unit mixed pre-packed display is available. So if you want to set up a display in your store like the one I actually bought mine from back in '97, and I think it was Toys R Us of all places, then, hey, yeah, I was like a junior in high school going to Toys R Us or something like that. What's your problem? But it then says Lucasfilm, 20th Century Fox, and then at the bottom repeats the same thing about not for rental or sale. This feature link, blah, blah, blah. It's the same information that's right there on the front. The actual tape, pretty much the same. No label on the front, barcode thing on the back. But you got a different label here. It says Preview Video Cassette, February 1997, Ewoks, The Haunted Village, Fox Video with a little number. This video cassette and its contents are for sales aid use only and absolutely not for sale or public demonstration. As a copyright date of 1996 on it here. Because, of course, they say the 1996 thing, because this thing was hitting in February. You were supposed to order it in January. So, of course, this was a late 1996 thing. Hey, as for the contents of the tape, very bare bones. Put it in, FBI warning, straight into the feature. Interestingly, that does mean it bypasses the trailer. There's no trailer on here, just the actual feature itself. So, hey, stores! Do you have parents who are gullible enough to buy something as crappy as Ewoks for their children to introduce them to Star Wars instead of the films or perhaps Droids? Ewoks is for you, and here's how we're going to convince the stores to sell it to you. Nothing really new in terms of content, but a unique, unusual item to have been added to my Star Wars home video library, and I thought it worth sharing. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.